3 weeks after Isaias threatening the east coast of Florida, emergency officials in that state are preparing for yet another round of tropical threats, and everyone from the Panhandle, obviously, into the Keys is going to be on alert. Joining us now live to talk about what's happening in the state of Florida is Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, thanks for taking the time out to talk to us. We know you're ramping it up again. I want to start off just by saying, what did you learn from Isaias that will help you deal with whatever TD13 becomes?
Well, it's a good question. We actually did some limited evacuations. Not a lot. Unfortunately, we got spared. But in the age of COVID-19, we've been very supportive of having non-congregate sheltering options, and then obviously with the congregate sheltering, having the right protocols and procedures and PPE. So we had folks go to congregate shelters. Some were fine, were admitted, no problem. Some presented with symptoms, and then they were given the ability to shelter in a non-congregate setting. And so we were able to beta test that. We knew that that would be something that would be an issue. Now, fortunately, we have seen a pretty significant decline in COVID prevalence in Florida over the last few weeks. We want that to continue, but it's something we have to deal with. And so that really allowed us to do that test run.
So what are your advisors telling you right now about the coming days and preparing for whatever this thing becomes?
Well, the message to the people of Florida is, look, we know the drill. This happens with us every year. We knew that this was a very active season, and so we're asking people to make sure they have a plan in place. We recommend 7 days of food, medicine, and water. We're looking at potentially South Florida impacts. Now, the more recent tracks have pushed it south of Florida, maybe brushing up against the Keys, and then going into the Gulf of Mexico, potentially impacting Northwest Florida. So I'm going to be signing a state of emergency today, which will basically affect the southern Florida counties and then the northwest Florida counties. So people just need to be watching. I always urge people to watch the Weather Channel because I know you guys are following this. Follow your local pronouncements, and then obviously the state, we're going to be providing updates on a regular basis. So there's a lot of stuff in flux with this. Obviously, it's going to probably get stronger. So that's just something that we're going to have to be braced for.
Yeah, so should that not happen until it gets into the Gulf and maybe even miss Florida altogether, are you guys in a position to actually help other states?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we provide assistance when folks need it. We're there. If you look at if it does go south of Florida and then turn into the Gulf and miss our panhandle, you're looking at neighbors that we work very well with, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. So we'll actually absolutely be willing to help in any way we can.
Since part of you obviously is on the right side of that cone, and this certainly could strengthen. We've seen this in the past, Governor, storms really strengthening where they come in toward Florida. Power outages were certainly a big issue with Isaias in the Northeast. How well will you be prepared for potential power outages?
Well, fortunately, Florida has put our utilities have put a lot of emphasis on resiliency. So we have a lot of power systems that have utilized underground, which means that you're kind of repairing rather than have to just rebuild from scratch. So that's been more and more part of Florida's response. And I know for Isaias, the companies had thousands and thousands of line workers ready to descend. Fortunately, we didn't have massive outages. But they'll be ready again here. Now, we're going to see this track. If it totally misses the south, then we kind of know that Northwest Florida will be where we need to focus most of the resources.
And when you think about the Keys, there's one way in and there's one way out, and you factor in coronavirus for both evacuation and potential sheltering, how does that come into play?
Well, the Keys, they're very well versed in this, and so they have great emergency management personnel down there, and we obviously will be supporting them in any way we can. It is a more difficult evacuation because you're basically looking at US 1, and they're still rebuilding from Hurricane Irma. And we've put tens of millions of dollars into housing down there, but it's not where it was before that. And so you may be in a situation where, if there are evacuations called for, they will have some sheltering there, but you may need to have people brought to the mainland.
Governor Ron DeSantis, we appreciate your time, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again. We got a busy couple of days coming up. Thank you, sir. All right.